Thank you, Pooja. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for the kind words of introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll just share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so on behalf of Team Gyno and spreading awareness about it. Now, breast cancer is the most common cancer among females worldwide. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. That is, you have a 12% chance of getting breast cancer in your entire lifetime. Women with certain risk factors are obviously more likely than others to develop breast cancer. Now, let us have a look at those risk factors. So, let us have a look at the non-modifiable risk factors first. So, these are the risk factors over which you have absolutely no control. So, let us have a look at them one by one. First comes the age. So the risk of breast cancer increases after 40 years of age, most common in the age group of 40 to 55 years. Next comes the gender. The female gender is 100 times more likely to get breast cancer as compared to the male gender. And yes, males do have a tendency to get breast cancer, although it is very rare as compared to the females. Next comes the race. So breast cancer is more common in the white population as well as in the Jewish people. Next comes the personal health history. If you have had a history of cancer in one breast and have got operated for it, there is a high risk of getting cancer again in the opposite breast. You are more likely to get it as compared to the rest of the population. Then comes the family history. If you have a very strong family history of breast cancer, that is either your mother, sister, or daughter suffering from breast cancer, or more than one family member suffering from breast cancer, or one member in the family suffering from multiple cancers like breast cancer, ovarian cancer, colon cancer, or if a male member in your family is suffering from breast cancer, that makes you a strong contender to get breast cancer later in life. Next comes your menstrual history. Now, the more you're exposed to the female hormones, the higher chances of getting breast cancer. For example, if you have started getting your periods at a very early age, that is less than 12 years of age, or if you get your menopause at a later age, that is more than 55 years of age, then the duration of exposure to the female hormones is more. That means the risk of getting breast cancer is more. Then comes the reproductive history. So now, if you have no children at all, or if your first child is after the age of 30 years, or if a woman has not breastfed her child at all, then that makes her more susceptible to get breast cancer. And finally comes the dense breast tissue. Now, when it comes to the structure of the breast, there are two types of tissue in the breast, in a normal breast, the breast tissue and some amount of fatty tissue. So the more the amount of breast tissue you have, the more likely are your chances of getting breast cancer. Let us have a look at the modifiable risk factors. That these are the risk factors over which you can absolutely control. So first comes the sedentary lifestyle. As we can see today, there's more of a trend towards having junk food, outside food, and a sedentary lifestyle. So lack of physical activity, the poor dietary habits, being overweight or obese, drinking alcohol, all these have a positive influence on breast cancer. Also, if you have had a history of cancer in the past, and for the same, if you have received radiation to the chest, that increases your risk. Also, the hormonal therapy, which is given to the females for post-menopause to tackle the symptoms of irritability, mood changes, those tablets also increase the risk by a certain extent. So, not necessary that if you have these risk factors, you will definitely get breast cancer, or if you don't have these risk factors, you're not at all susceptible to get breast cancer. As we can see from this image, if 100 people are suffering, if 100 females are suffering from breast cancer, out of those, only 30 to 40% of these females have had known risk factors. The rest, major chunk of 60 to 70% are those patients who are without any risk factors. Now let's come to the genetic factors next. So there's a gene known as the breast cancer gene, which is known as the BRCA gene. There are two such genes, BRCA gene 1 and 2. So if you are positive for these genes, then the risk of getting breast cancer increases. So when should you get tested for it? All of you do not have to get tested for it. You have to get tested for the gene only if you have a strong family history. That is, as we have discussed before, If your mother, sister, or daughter, they have breast cancer, multiple members in your family have breast cancer, one single member in your family suffering from breast cancer, ovarian cancer, colon cancer, everything at once, or if any male member in your family is is tested positive for breast cancer, then you might need to get tested for the BRCA gene. Now, even if you test positive, do not panic. If you test positive for the gene, that does not make you 100% susceptible to breast cancer. It just increases your risk more as compared to rest of the population. That is, you have a 60 to 70% chance that you may be tested positive. So we can begin screening early for such females. When we talk about the screening, we'll discuss it again later. Now, what are the symptoms for breast cancer? You may observe a nipple discharge. It can be either a clear fluidy discharge, a yellowish discharge, or a bloody discharge. You may observe a change in the shape of your nipple. There can be a change in your skin texture, red or flaky skin. You might notice a dimpling or a puckering, or there can be enlargement of pores in the skin of a breast. That is the orange skin appearance, we say so. You may notice a lump in your breast. You may notice any change in the shape or size of the breast, especially if it is more so towards one side. That is, any swelling or enlargement of only one breast, shrinkage or reduction in the size of only one breast, or any asymmetrical breast. It is normal for females to have asymmetrical breasts, one larger than the other or one smaller than the other. But if you have noticed this change recently, then it is of significance. Now, what comes in screening? As you know, early detection of any disease can save a lot of lives. So first we come to the self-examination of the breast. All adult females should perform breast self-examinations at least once a month. If you notice your symptoms, then that may help you to contact a professional at the earliest as possible. So how can you do so? First of all, in the shower. So whenever you examine your breast, that is to be done with the flat of your hands, and you never have to pinch your breast. It is to be done with the flat of your hands. So with the flat of your hands, you will need to examine the breast. You have to press it firmly, lightly, over the entire breast as well as the underarms. Check for any change in the texture of the breast. If you notice any lump, if you notice any knot, or any other particular changes in the texture, in the consistency of your breast tissue. Next, you may examine in front of a mirror with your hands by the side, with your hands raised, and also with the hands on your waist. You may look for any change in the shape of the breast, any noticeable swelling, any noticeable dimpling, any noticeable changes in the texture of your skin, any changes in the nipple, and more so be alert if it is particularly only on one side and not symmetrical. You may also check it while lying down. So as shown in the figure, you may lie down and place a pillow under one shoulder with one arm behind your head, and using the opposite hand, you may want to examine the breast again with the flat of your hand. Examine the breast as well as the underarm area and check it with medium as well as firm pressure. You may also squeeze the nipple to check for any discharge, and repeat the same steps for the opposite breast. If you notice any changes in all these positions, that is in the shower, in front of the mirror, or while lying down, you might want to come to the clinical breast examination. So a clinical breast examination is recommended once every year. This may help the doctor to notice any lumps or any physical changes in the skin, in the nipple, if that has gone unnoticed by your cancerous changes. Then we come to the image modalities. Now, normally, females over the age of 40 years are recommended to have annual mammograms. That is screening of your breast tissue with X-rays. That is called a mammogram. So all the females aged 40 years and above should have it annually as a screening for breast cancer. Now, what about those who are younger than 40? They should go for screening only if they have risk factors. Now, the risk factors, again, we go back to if they have a strong family history, if they have tested positive for the gene, then they might want to go for it earlier. Also, if you have any relative who has contracted breast cancer at a very early age, then you might want to start screening 10 years prior to when they were detected. For example, if your mother or sister, they have been detected at a very early age, say 35 years, then you might want to start your screening 10 years prior to that, that is at 25 years of age, so that you can catch it at the earliest. And also for age less than 40 years, an MRI of the breast is recommended, because since the breast tissue is dense, there's more of breast tissue for younger people. A mammogram may not be able to catch any cancerous changes. So we go for MRI of the breast. Now there are certain myths related to breast cancer. Let's break them one by one. So first of all, finding a lump in your breast means you have breast cancer. No, that is absolutely not true. Out of 10 lumps, 8 will turn out to be absolutely non-cancerous if you get it checked. So do not panic. If you notice a lump, you contact your gynecologist immediately, but high chances that it may turn out to be non-cancerous, so do not panic. Now, next myth is men do not get breast cancer. It affects women only. Again, as discussed earlier, the chances are very less as compared to females, but 1 in 1,000 males do get breast cancer, and the death rate among the males is also very high, mainly because they tend to be ignorant about this fact, and so there may be a delay in diagnosis. Next myth is a mammogram can cause breast cancer to spread. No, mammogram does expose the breast to radiation, but the amount of radiation exposure is very less, and that low amount of radiation is not enough to cause breast cancer. Then comes, if you have a family history of breast cancer, you are likely to develop breast cancer too. Yes, that is true that the risk increases, but it is not set in stone that if your family member has breast cancer, then you will also have it. Next comes, breast cancer is contagious. No, it does not spread by contact. Next comes, if the gene mutation BRCA1 or BRCA2 is detected in your DNA, you will definitely develop breast cancer. No, that is again not true. As said earlier, the risk definitely increases as compared to the rest of the population. But if you go for regular screenings, it may help in detecting early detection. And also, if you are quite anxious, then there's one treatment modality that you can go for prophylactic mastectomy once you complete your family, and also prophylactic removal of both the tubes and the ovaries. But again, it is not set in stone that if you test positive for the gene, you will definitely get breast cancer. The risk definitely increases, but it is not 100%. Next is the myth, the last myth, that antiperspirants, deodorants, underwire bras, caffeine, microwaves, use of cell phones causes breast cancer. So no, there are no such studies till now to prove that these things actually cause breast cancer. So that's it. Now that we know all the symptoms, we know how to screen for it, do regular cell breast examinations, have a clinical examination annually, get mammograms done, I think we should all be better equipped now to fight it together. So thank you, everyone. This was the end of my presentation. And I would like to thank Team Rotaract for giving Team Gynosaurus this opportunity. We hope to connect with you again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.